What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi and Eric Sheets. Hey, we're going to be talking through the CJ Cup Byron Nelson tournament. I never know what to call these things because I don't know all of them as well. The first thing that jumps out to me, though, about this slate is that I do not understand some of these ownership projections. So I'm excited because a lot of the guys who I like are looking like they're going to be very, 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 very low owned. So I'm kind of happy about that. And I also am not buying that Scotty Scheffler's only going to be 36%, 33%, depending on where you look. I'm not buying that that's going to be the ownership on Scotty. Any overall thoughts you want to make, Sheets, before we jump into the different pricing tiers?
I mean, I have Scotty at 41% in the lottery. I think that's probably low. And now again, it's golf and all that stuff. But I mean, if you base it on all the models and the metrics, I mean, I think he's like minus 150 to win. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
And not, we had this discussion about Chris Sale. He hasn't won yet. I tell you, I mean, he's minus 150 to win. He needs to win, and not only win, he needs to win by a lot to pay off his price.
Does he? So here's where I disagree with that. I don't think there's a huge gap in the top end golfers versus the mid range in this tournament. So I think he could literally finish anywhere in the top 6, and then it's fine.
Okay,
that's just the way I'm looking at it. I get what you're saying, but if the winner comes out of that 8K range or the 7K range,
I guess so. I suppose
that's the way I'm looking at it, at least. But I hear you. Usually I try to think about it like both ways. But
I guess we'll just do this tier by tier again. Now it is like your straight cut event, and the one thing that's I guess going against him is that it is a very easy course.
Yeah.
And the scores are going to be very, very low. I would imagine 20 under is very reasonable. I mean, at least for an estimate. And because it's an easy course, I mean, I would argue that he is not as able to distance himself from lesser golfers on an easier course. That would be my argument. I would say my argument to fade, but my argument to temper expectations. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, remember, you got to beat 150 guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. You got to beat the variance of 150 guys. So, right. But then, like you said, I mean, if you don't think you need to beat him, then that's something else. He certainly has the highest floor. He's going to make the cut. He's going to finish top 5. And that's just the way it is. At least. So, all right. So I guess tier by tier. I mean, is there anybody else above 10K? I mean, like, how would you rate the other guys? What are the two other guys, right?
Yeah, it's just the two. I have it Scotty and I have Spieth and Sungjae basically the same. Although I kind of like the idea of I kind of like Spieth at this tournament, but I feel like it's really kind of alarming when you see this price on him. So Sungjae would be, I guess, maybe slightly ahead of Spieth. It's pretty close between those two for me. I mean, clearly Scotty's one, and then I think those other two are. I don't even know like 2.
I have Sungjae a little bit better value than Spieth. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't know if on FanDuel you could get to whatever you want, but on DraftKings it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
To play 2 of them. There's a lot of good plays in 7,500s, but you're going to need better than that to play those 2. I mean, you're going to need like 6K guys. And not that they're bad 6K guys either. I mean, they're guys we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah. I have him rated 2nd and Spieth rated 3rd, and obviously to put a cherry on it, I do have Scotty as the top play on this thing.
Yeah, I think that's pretty that's
hot take.
But it is interesting if you decided not to play him to just play the tier below him. I think that's kind of an interesting strategy, even though I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm interested in it. So we've got Sam Burns getting like no love whatsoever because of recent form. I'll just go ahead and say I think Sam Burns is my favorite player in the 9K range, even if we didn't include the ownership. And because the ownership is low, I will be all over that play this week. So he would be my favorite. I do like Ben Yon. I think the Siwoo ownership is a little bit higher than I want to partake in. But again, if I'm playing Sam Burns, I'm not as worried about it. And I think that weird part is my other one that I really like is Jaeger. And these are the two lowest owned plays in the thing. So I think those are my two takes is Burns and Jaeger, followed by Benny on. And those are the three ones I'll be using the most. Ben Griffin coming off the doubles win. Yeah, I guess he'd be next, but those three are the ones who stand out for me.
Yeah, I think the recency bias of Griffin and Kim I would probably be a little bit less inclined to play them. I mean, Kim was killing it until the last round. So it was in everybody's binoculars, whatever, everybody's eye shot.
Yeah.
Those guys rate the highest for me, but again, I think my build is going to be like everybody else's. I put a play like Scheffler and a bunch of 7Ks, and hope to get them right, I guess. So I don't know how much I'm going to even get of these 9K guys, but if I did, I guess Kim would be the top one for me as far as projections go. But like you said, who died and said that Sam Burns is terrible now? Mackenzie Hughes, I heard a couple of cases made for him. He's sub 10%. That's not bad. So yeah, I'll throw in Mackenzie Hughes as top 9K. I don't know. I do like him, but again, it's also hard to get to him and Scheffler.
Right.
So yeah, that's my thought. I mean, the majority of what we're going to be talking about is going to be sub 8K, except actually as we transition, that was a transition word, into the 8Ks. I do have Jacob Bridgman projected pretty well at 8,500. And again, everything I say is probably not going to be particularly earth-shattering, because when you have a slate where everybody has a build that is just locked in, like everybody's going to get funneled to the same types of things.
Right.
But I've tried this. I've tried to fade the build, especially like on FanDuel, where sometimes it's so easy to go stars and scrubs, so I would try to go balanced. You just end up getting just destroyed. It's like unless you get there organically. Like sometimes I'll do that. I'll say, okay, forget this. I'll put max one of like the top two guys, and then it ends up they just run 1-2, or you just need them both. So I guess a lot of people get funneled to this Jacob Bridgman play. The next guy I have in the 8K range is a guy that we played a decent amount. He's been doing pretty well. It's the Harry Hall. So Harry Hall, I have him at only like 7% projected right now. So that would be, I guess, my best tournament play would be Harry Hall.
Yeah, I like the idea of the fact that he's low owned and everything. For me, I like these other weird plays, and maybe I do end up with a little bit less Scotty because I like both Højgaards.
Okay.
My favorite play on this slate is Ryan Gerard, and he's like, these ownerships are not going to be like this. Cannot be real.
No.
Goldie's got him at 8%. Okay, that makes a little more sense to me, but like 2%. I love Ryan Gerard here. I like both Højgaards, so I'm pretty off the board. And then my next favorite is Rio. So I'm kind of into this range a little bit, and I think that Jake Knapp is the kind of guy at 8,400 that could actually win this kind of a tournament. So I think that I'm heavy in the 8K. I may be with less Scotty than I thought. Tom Kim has been in really bad form, but ordinarily, if this was like 2 months ago, would have been probably the guy who was the chalk from this group.
Yeah, I have
Zalatoris.
For what it's worth, I have Gerard at 10% projected ownership.
Okay, that's fair. That seems fair to me. So we have like different guys, but we're both going to be getting low ownership on them because there's just not that many guys. There's not that many other non-Scheffler lineups, but it is weird because then you get down to the 7Ks, and this is where you're going to have a lot of decisions to make. So why don't you start off the 75 to 7,900?
Well, it's weird. So in my initial run, which I'm not staying with, like I'd be getting 60% Taylor Moore, like for example.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's just not going to fly. You know what I mean? Like first of all, I have him projected as chalk, and one leads to the other. If he projects well, he's going to project for high ownership, and that's why you're getting whatever. I think you just have to shuffle some of these and just play like the lowest owned of these guys that you think is a chance. I think that's the way you have to play this, especially in the lottery. Like 75 to 79, Lee Hodges, but he's gonna get money. Kevin Yu's gonna get money. Are we supposed to just like leave money on the table and play guys below this? I don't know. Oh, here's a guy from this past weekend. Here's a guy from this past weekend who made the cut. The Isaiah Salinda. Nobody heard of him till Thursday.
No, he won it. No, that's not true. He won a tournament already this year.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay. Yeah. So those are my top ratings. And Rico Hui. But again, I think you just have to shuffle these.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't like this range particularly. I like Thorbjornsson is my favorite in this range. Everybody else, I have nothing to say, good or bad. I just don't have a take that they're. I guess if I had to take any, it'd be the Hodges and the. You said Kevin Yu, but I thought he was in a. Oh no, he's right there. Yeah, Hodges and Yu would be my next two, I guess, if I had to pick three from that range. But I'm not all that excited about it. I don't think I need to. I was playing Taylor Moore at 0% ownership on every freaking thing.
Right.
It's weird to play him all of a sudden now that he's going to be super popular. He's not going to be the 28% that SaberSim has him, but I don't think he's probably going to be higher than the 11% that Goldie's got him at. So somewhere in between is probably where you end up finding him. All right, 7K to 7,400 Sheets.
Yeah, before we get there, I'm gonna go back to the 8K range for a minute because there's a guy, I don't know if you brought him up, but a guy that you play more of than a lot of people, and he's got a big ceiling, and he's gonna be like very low owned. Well, he's not. He's gonna be 10%. I was gonna say to Jake Knapp. I don't know if you talked about him.
Yeah, I did. I said he's the kind of guy who could win this tournament.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
And then even like trying to think of how to get different. I guess you play the 8K guys to be different, like Zalatoris, who we played like every freaking tournament. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe this could be. I don't know.
When will he find it again? Is the thing.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as the 74 and below, but my top two. Well, I got three guys that rate a little higher than everybody else. Actually, four, and none of them are that popular. Okay, so Chan Kim, I have him at 8%. Heinrich Nordlander, I have him at 8%. I got funny hat guy Joel Damon, projected at 6%, and then Doug Gim at 6%. So those are actually my four favorites.
Yeah, and I actually like the. I think this is a tournament that I actually think what's his name that Joel Dahman could do well in. So I'm gonna take that one from you as being. I don't know if it's my favorite, but what I will keep saying is I play Sammy Vilimaki every freaking week, and I never feel bad about it. I always feel really good about it. Why is he so low owned? I don't know. He is definitely going to be well over the field on him. I'll be well over the field on him. Other ones, did something happen to Nicholas Echeverria this year where he's all of a sudden become awesome? He's another one that, I mean, he was competing in the Masters, for Christ's. I mean, like competing. Carl Phillips, one of my stars from last week's 9th place finish in my one lineup because I didn't know how to make any sims work or projections. So I just had to hand build the one lineup. I like Phillips a little bit. As a more chalky one, maybe Davis Riley. And I don't disagree with your Norlander. The one that's, I guess, that I'm deciding on, and again, we have to play somebody. So, I guess the two I'm deciding on are Norgard Muller and Cam Davis, as well as Matty Schmidt. So I'm probably going to have some exposure here because I'm basically the bottom of the 8K range and the top of the 7K range. I'm basically not playing. So I'm going to have some of these guys just by circumstance, but nobody I'm like overwhelmingly in love with, or I have a really hot take outside of the Valimaki. And I did have Dahman as one of them. Oh, sorry. I forgot one other one. Gary Woodland, playing much, much better golf. I don't love this type. I would rather him like in a grinded out tournament, not a million birdie tournament, but you can't have everything. So he's a little too cheap to me.
So my take on this tournament, this slate is this, and it feeds a little bit off of something that you said earlier when you said, you know what, after Sheffield, there's really not much difference between one from the other. You know what I mean? And more to the point, like the difference between these low 7Ks and these 6K guys to me is like almost like a rounding error. And so I think what's going to win the slate, I mean, it's not going to win the slate. We talk about optimal, right? Now it's almost impossible to like get optimal. But I think the optimal lineup is going, if you were able to get it, would be something under 7K and leaving money on the table. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be optimal. That doesn't mean that someone's going to actually get it. But that's what I think is going to happen. So I think more than any other week for me, I'm willing to screw around down here. So let's talk a little bit about this. First one I have listed rated high is, as usual, the 6,900 guy, Max McGreevy. Okay. But there are dudes here, all right, and they're not going to be like projection great, like, but they're all going to be low owned. Like Andrew Putnam, I have him at like 3%, and then you scroll down the list, just almost like a name value here a little bit. Like I've actually heard a couple of people recommend Danny Walker, and yet still he's projecting only 3% ownership. You watch, he'll be the 12% guy. That's like under 7K somehow. Bramlett. Who else down here? Oh, you want to give me an easy course? How about give me Emmanuel Grillo on easy course, 6,800. I'll try that. Let him get hot with his freaking irons. So I think that's what you have to do. I think you have to screw around down here and play some of these 6Ks. I'll let you talk about. There's one guy I know you're going to bring up. I'll let you talk about him. But I'll throw one other out there that we play Adam Svensson a lot. What's wrong with him? And then people have been talking about this Takumi Kanaya.
I like him. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I don't think it took everybody. I know there's one more that you're probably going to come up with. So go ahead.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention that Bo Hostler is probably just too cheap at the 7K range. Pearson Cootie is probably one of my favorites down in this range, 6,900. I'm just trying to get, but like what you were saying, I'm kind of trying to get exposure to a lot of different guys here. Kanaya being another one. Oops, I'm below the field. I want to make sure I'm at least above the field on him. Jeremy Paul is somebody who I considered, and I've heard a couple people mention. Pot Getter is another one. Bramlett. These guys all have the upside to get there, but it's I don't have like one. I always like playing Carson Young.
Yeah, that's your man. That's what I was leaving.
In fact, I'll bump him up because I just was putting a number on him. This Manasaro, I believe he's actually got like talent. I don't know if this is the right tournament. But it's a weird tournament, so I'm going to take some shots. I've heard some people talk about Luke List.
Tell me all these guys.
It's just like it feels like you're talking about the same. And then of course, just because everybody sucks, why don't we play the general?
Yep, I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah, why don't we play a little bit of them?
Yeah.
But in terms of the ones who stand out the most, it's definitely going to be the I like the Cootie idea personally the best. And then down at who did you mentioned somebody at 6,100 that I had some interest in, but I don't remember.
I don't remember now.
And all of these guys, like, I mean, it's just one of those weird tournaments. Harry Higgs is another one that I like. Oops. Just again, I'm just putting little, making sure I get a little bits of these guys. It's not like I'm going crazy with any of them, except for I might with Pearson Cootie. This feels like the time where he could have a breakthrough, and especially with you look at the golfers around in this tournament, I think that could be something. So I might even bump him up a little bit more. I mentioned Andrew Putnam, I think, and Adam Schenk.
Yeah.
But it's not all that exciting. I guess this is another tournament you could throw Mark Hubbard into the mix just because the quality of the golfers. Dylan Wu is another one, but it's not all that exciting. It is kind of, again, I say it's not I like this though. Every time I say that about a golf tournament, I end up doing well in it. So maybe we'll see what happens. But I'm spreading out a little bit on these guys. And Johnny Vegas under 7K is definitely a threat to always make a little bit of a run. But it's not been, none of these guys have actually been like in the best of forms. Mac Meisner sort of surprised me that he was this cheap and no one's playing him. I guess I'll throw him into the mix as well. But like outside of Scheffler and like, let's look at Goldie's ownership for a second. I know yours is going to be a little different, but
this is one of those slates where you could really take advantage of the min uniques thing.
Yeah,
and really try to spread out. I mean, especially with guys below 8K. Even you want to use another there's a 6K flat. How about Ryan Palmer emerging from the dead at 6K flat at 0.5% ownership or something like that? I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah. Wait, you said Ryan Palmer? Wait, hold on. That's Texas. Okay.
Kevin Kisner is only 6K.
Kevin Kisner is only 6K for a good reason. He hasn't made like one cut in the last 5 years.
Well, okay.
You got me on the Palmer though in a little bit. I've played Palmer at like 0.2% ownership and had him top 10 for me, so I can at least talk myself into that. And Kevin Kisner is one of my favorite people to listen to while watching golf. He's really funny.
Okay.
Actually, I don't even know if I want to do that. So 0.5. I'm not even going to go higher than that. Yeah, it's a wild tournament. So I guess with that, we got to play the game here, Sheets.
Okay, so we like the sports books. Like, who's going to win except for Scotty Scheffler? How about that?
Okay, so we can play with Scotty. I'll first. Okay, all right. We'll do it your way. Okay.
If I will do it my way, I'll go first. I say Scotty Scheffler wins.
Okay, you can take a Scheffler because I'm going to use these to actually make my builds later.
All right. Good.
All right. So I guess from a logic standpoint, I guess I just have to say Sung Jae. Okay. But it's man, it's kind of bleak. So I'll take Sung Jae.
Top guy under 10K to go top 5.
Got a top 5 under 10K. Oops, let me get back to my thing. I'm going to say Sam Burns.
And I will go Mackenzie Hughes.
All right. All right. Under 9K
to make top 10.
Top 10. I'm going to stick by my Ryan Gerard guns, even though the Hoygards are calling my name.
And I will go with the Harry Hall.
Harry Hall. Okay.
Under 8K to make top 20.
Under 8K to top 20. I'm trying to double check my list here. And I think I'm going to say, wow, God, I really don't like that much here, do I? You know what? F it then. If I don't like that much, I'm going to take my guy who always is good to me, and that's Valimaki.
Okay, so we're going to flip a coin here. So heads will be the guy at the top of the list. Tails will be at the bottom. And it is going to be tails. So we will go with Lee Hodges.
Lee Hodges. All right. And
under 7K to make the cut. Or under 7K or best performing under 7K.
Yeah, I like that. The best performer, I'm going to say Pearson Coody has a little breakout tournament here.
I'm going to go with my projections of this and kind of double up on the name that you mentioned, but just he is my top projected one. That would be Max McGreevy. At 6,900. All right, so who is over 9K? Who's going to miss the cut?
Keith Mitchell. Just kidding. He's out. So wow, it actually is harder when I look at it from this point. I'm going to say letdown week Ben Griffin.
And I'll go letdown week Siwoo Kim. But
that's what I was going to say. Okay.
But there's another guy, by the way, that we just have to talk about.
Jordan Spieth?
No, not for this, just in general. And I know we've mentioned every freaking person in the field, but
we mentioned how we didn't like him.
No, but there's another guy here that I don't think we talked about in the 8K range. If you did, I forget, but guy that we used to play a lot who's actually really good on these types of courses, and that would be Eric with a C. Cole.
Okay.
He's 8,100 at 6% ownership. He's in a dead range. And he's really, really good on these types of easy courses. I definitely would not be upset if I got a decent amount of him.
Fair enough. I actually think that's not a bad call there, and not getting a lot of love at the moment. So, all right, guys. So there you have it. I will post all my exposures a little bit later in the Discord channel for the members, and I think that's pretty much it. Anything else, Sheets, for you before we get out of here?
No, sounds good. And if you play FanDuel, obviously, what's Scheffler gonna be on FanDuel? Like
it's going to be like 90+%. I think it's got to be, at least in the big buy-ins, it will be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck everyone this week. Yep. Hopefully we can have another good, profitable week. And